Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Introduction to Human Anatomy. We are discussing about the contents of the uh, today's lecture, including definition, branches of anatomy, structural organization, anatomical position, anatomical planes, body cavities, and serous membrane. Now the definition. Anatomy refers to the internal and external structures of the body and their physical relationship. Uh, Anatomy is the Greek word ana meaning up and tom meaning a cutting. Traditionally, studies of anatomy have involved cutting up or dissecting organism. This is the scientific study focusing on the physical structures and parts of organism. And in another study, scientific concern with the study of the physical structures of organism. Now come to the branches of anatomy. Gross anatomy is the large body parts. They are visible to the naked eye. Comparative anatomy, actually, this is the similarities and differences. Third, developmental anatomy, changes in structure from conception through maturity. Embryology is the developmental anatomy, developmental changes occurring prior to birth. Next branch is the regional anatomy, structures in a particular region of the body as one complete unit. Sixth one is the surface anatomy, both superficial anatomic markings and internal body structures as they relate to the skin covering them. Seventh one is the systemic anatomy, gross anatomy of each system of the body. Eighth one, pathologic anatomy, all anatomic changes resulting from disease. Ninth one is the radiographic anatomy, the structures that may be visualized by specific scanning procedure such as X-ray, MRI, ultrasound, etc. 10th one is the surgical anatomy, anatomic landmarks used before and after surgery. Histology. Histology is the study of tissues. Tissues are groups of cells. Cytology is the study of cell. Okay. Now comes to the structural organization. The structural organization, these are chemical level, cellular level, tissue level, organ system, organismal level. What are the structural levels of organization? Basically, major levels of organization in the body, from the simplest to the most complex, these are chemical, cellular, tissue, organ system, organism level. Higher level of organization are built from lower level. Chemical level is the simplest level. It includes the building blocks that make life possible. Atoms bind together in various combinations to form molecules that make up several essential functions of life. Human chemistry includes organic molecules, carbon-based and biochemicals, those produced by the body. Human chemistry also includes elements. These elements in turn can form both the inorganic and organic chemical compounds important to life, including, for example, water, glucose, and proteins. cellular level. Second is the cellular level. Why is cellular organization important? Living organisms need to do things in order to survive. A cell is the basic unit of life and the smallest unit capable of reproduction. Cells are made up of organic molecules, contain nucleic acid such as DNA and RNA. These are filled with fluid called cytoplasm and have a membrane made up of lipids. Regardless of the type of cell, all cells have some similarities in features. These include the cytoplasm, cell membrane, ribosomes, and DNA-RNA. Third level is the tissue level of organization. Consists of a group of cells that work together to accomplish one or more specific functions. There are only 4 distinct types of tissues in an adult human. The organ system level of organization is when 2 or more organs work together for a specific function. Each organism has tissue level of organization. The simplest living creatures are single cell creatures, but in complex life forms such as human beings, cells also exist in the tissue level. Tissues are groups of similar cells that have a common function. The 4 basic tissue types are epithelial, muscle, connective, and nervous tissues. Fourth one is the organ level of organization. What is the organ level of organization? The organ level of organization is when 2 or more tissues work together for a specific function. For example, the bladder consists of an inner lining of epithelial tissue bound by various connective tissue to smooth muscle. An organ in an anatomically distinct structure of the body composed of 2 or more tissue types. Each organ performs one or more specific physiological functions. An organ system in a group of organs that work together to perform major functions or meet physiological needs of the body. Fifth one is the organ system level of organization. What is the organ system level of organization and how is it important? Cells, the basic building blocks of the human body, make up tissues which form specialized structures called organs. Organ systems are groups of organs and tissues that all function together towards a single purpose. Sixth one is the organismal level. What is this system or level? The most complex level of organization, where all 11 organ systems function in the human organism. The whole living person, the biological levels of organization of living things arranged from the simplest to most complex. This is the structural organization of the human body: chemical level, cellular level, tissue level, organ level, organ system, and organismal level. Okay, now come to the anatomical position. Anatomical position and what its purpose. You can see in this figure, this is the anatomical position. Body is erect, eyes looks straight to the front, upper limb hangs down and palms turn forward, and lower limb are parallel and toes are pointing forward. You can see in this figure, eyes look straight, body is erect, upper limbs hangs down, palms turn forward, lower limb parallel, and toes pointing forward. And what is its purpose? The purpose of a standard anatomical position is to be able to clearly talk about different parts of moving organisms, no matter how they are moving or what position they are in. This makes it easier to avoid confusion when discussing anatomy. Anatomical position or standard anatomical position refers to the positioning of the either side, refers to the positioning of the body when it is standing upright and facing forward with each arm hanging on either side of the body and the palms facing forward, legs are parallel with feet flat on the floor and facing forward. Next is the anatomical plane. Anatomical planes, so what is the purpose of anatomical planes? The planes can then be used to identify and locate the positions of the patient's internal organs. Individual organs can also be divided by planes to help identify smaller structures within the organ. Body planes are used to describe anatomical motion in the XYZ coordinate system that the body moves through. Or it is a hypothetical plane used to transect the body in order to describe the location of the structure of or the direction of movement. Anatomical planes in the human, these are median or sagittal plane, frontal or coronal, transfer or axial plane. Median plane, actually this is the lengthwise. You can see in the figure, median plane is the lengthwise cut that divides the body into two halves, right half and left half. In the sagittal plane, any plane that parallel to the median plane. This plane is parallel to the median plane. Next one is the transverse plane, also known as horizontal plane, refers to a cut that divides the body into superior and inferior portions of the body. Fourth one is the corner, or also known as frontal plane, refers to a section that divides the body into anterior and posterior portions. In the next slide, we are discussing about the body cavities and serous membranes. Body cavity maintains its internal organization by means of membranes, sheaths, and other structures that separate compartments. Cavities or spaces of the body contain the internal organs or viscera. Two main cavities are called ventral and dorsal cavities. Dorsal or posterior cavity and ventral is the anterior cavity. These are the largest body compartments. Ventral is the larger cavity and is divided into two parts, thoracic and abdominopelvic cavity. By the diaphragm, a dome-shaped respiratory muscle. Major cavities of the human body are the spaces left over when internal organs are removed. A human body, like that of many other multicellular organisms, is divided into a number of body cavities. A body cavity, which is fluid-filled space inside the body that holds and protects internal organs. Human body cavities are separated by membranes and other structures. Function: contain and protect delicate internal organs. Ventral cavity allows for significant changes in the size and shape of the organs as they perform their function. Contract without distorting other tissues or disrupting the activity of nearby organs, intestine, lungs, heart, or stomach. Dorsal or posterior cavity subdivided into cranial cavity, which is the houses the brain, and vertebral cavity runs through the vertebral column and encloses the spinal cord. Dorsal body cavity, the cranial cavity and spinal cavity in combination. Cranial cavity, the space occupied by brain enclosed by skull bone. Spinal cavity, the space occupied by the spinal cord enclosed by the vertebral column, making up the backbone. Spinal cavity is continuous with the cranial cavity. Ventral body cavity, including thoracic cavity, the abdominal cavity, and the pelvic cavity in combination. Thoracic cavity, the space occupied by the ventral internal organs superior to the diaphragm. Abdominal pelvic cavity, the abdominal cavity and the pelvic cavity in combination. Abdominal cavity, the space occupied by the ventral internal organs inferior to the diaphragm and superior to the pelvic cavity. Pelvic cavity, which is the space occupied by the ventral internal organs that are bordered by the bones of the pelvic girdle. Okay. This is the ventral body cavity and subdivision. Serous cavities are slit-like space lined by a serous membrane, pleura, pericardium, and peritoneum. Parietal serosa is the outer wall of the cavity. Visceral serosa covers the visceral organ. Some other body cavities including oral cavity, nasal cavity, orbital cavity, middle ear cavity, synovial cavity. Human body system. Human body systems, in major systems of the body, these are the 11 organ systems in the human body: skeletal system, muscular system, lymphatic system, respiratory system, digestive system, nervous system, including this nervous system further divided into two: central nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Seventh one is endocrine system, which regulates hormone production, cardiovascular system, including the heart. Ninth one is the urinary system. 10th, reproductive system, and 11th, integumentary system, which includes the skin, hair, and nails, among other areas. These systems all work together and depend on each other to function. Forensic investigation, forensic study, forensic science helps authorities through the analysis of evidence collecting from the crime scene. The results are then used to identify a suspect or determine if they committed a crime or not. Forensic science degrees teach students how to collect, store, and analyze all types of evidence. Importance of this forensic science, it is help to collect the evidence. Autopsy. As in forensic investigation, experts study tissues from deceased people and animals to understand the causes of death. Archaeology, biological samples from archaeological sites can provide useful data about what was happening thousands of years ago. Importance of this science, this is a biological science. Biological samples from the archaeological sites can provide data. Thank you very much. If you like our presentation, please like, share and subscribe to our channel and be sure to press the bell icon.